Hey everybody, welcome to the Options Moneymaker Q&A session. Today is Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021. I'm Mark Dannerberg, and I have with me this evening Aaron Rumley and Kristen Kane. So let's go ahead and get started. So this time that we devote every other Wednesday, most every other Wednesday, is all about you. So for the time that we've been in business, and since 2009, we have promoted a philosophy of learn to trade and trade to earn. So we always encourage people to learn what they desire to know about trading rather than jumping in immediately, and testing that knowledge and demonstrating your ability to trade through trading in sim mode if you're in futures trading, or trading in paper mode if you're an options trader. And then there's a natural transition into trading to earn. Trading seems to be one of those activities that people are very anxious to jump into live with real money, and frequently people jump in too quickly, in my opinion, and those people struggle a little bit. So we've really encouraged people who are attentive to what we teach and what we preach to learn to trade and trade to earn. And this session that we set aside on Wednesday evenings is devoted specifically to that. We're here to help you learn. We're here to help clarify what you need to understand, what you'd like to understand about trading. We're here to discuss futures trading, and we're here to discuss options trading. And we're also here to discuss market metrics, the adaptive entry system, which Aaron talks about every single day in our live trading room. So we're here to talk about whatever it is that we provide in the way of service. So we've got the adaptive entry system, live trading room, futures trading education, where you're really learning how to manage your risk and the potential rewards of futures. We're here to talk about the personal trading plan, which I think is one of the most important tools that any trader should have. The personal trading plan is more than just forecasting what your potential profit is over a 12-month, 52-week period. It's also a tool that helps you navigate through more challenging trades, more challenging days, and know where you stand in terms of your overall performance. And then for those of you who are options traders and have been with us for a while and have been through our options trading education, or maybe are thinking about options trading education, the Profit Builder Plus program is, in my opinion, one of the best options education curriculums available. So we've had a lot of people go through that and have compared and contrasted to other training and learning that they've had. And so that's feedback that I've gotten from a large number of people. So we want to help you learn. So this is all about education. Also, just so you know, and you can ask questions about these, I don't have a lot of answers right now, but just to let you know what we are working on. We are always in the process, Options Moneymaker and New Cycle Trading together, of building new tools, building new ways for traders to be successful at the business that they are building for themselves, which is a trading business. We're working on thinking through trade alerts for intraday options trading. We have some great ideas there that blend and harmonize the whole idea of intraday options trading, day trading, along with the adaptive entry system, and even some of our newer systems that we are in the process of refining and developing. We are also deeply immersed in the development, with Craig's support from New Cycle Trading, in the development of auto trading, which we affectionately refer to as CycleBot. And that's primarily for futures trading, which would allow a trader to trade 23 hours a day, would allow a trader to point the auto trader at any particular signal that you want to trade, and you can literally trade hands off, or you can trade with some human intervention. And then there is a newer generation of the adaptive entry system that we've been working on and refining. Kristen's kind of leading the charge on that, along with auto trading testing. And the Aurora system is something that we are now just starting to offer on a very, very limited basis. And at this point, we're only offering it exclusively to one-on-one individual coaching clients. So we just recently announced that a couple of weeks ago that we're offering a one-on-one coaching opportunity for a limited number of people, and the Aurora system is part of what we are walking people through. So it's not available to the entire community right now, but on a limited basis to those coaching clients, we're starting to get people acquainted with it. Now, one of the things that we talk about in this Q&A and Aaron promotes every single day in the live trading room is the importance of your personal trading plan and the importance of updating it at the end of the day. So I'm going to pull up the personal trading plan that we've been tracking, and if you've been following along with us for the last year, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Basically, as adaptive entry system signals come up, there are 4 signals plus fractals. As they come up during the live trading room session, Erin is announcing those signals. She's explaining the signals, what's leading up to the signals. She's explaining how we're going to manage the signal, how we're going to manage the exit, and then she's taking those trades and managing the exit and articulating, talking through that with everybody in our live trading room. And then she records the performance of those trades, whether it be winning trades or losing trades, in a database, which we have a very comprehensive database now of trades. And then at the end of the day, we record a summary of performance. So each day, that summary of performance is recorded in the personal trading plan. And everything that's shaded in blue here highlights all of our past performance. And all of that past performance drives what we call a run rate. So a run rate is an average of all the wins and losses. A lot of people, when they think that they understand trading, will ask you what's your win-loss ratio, and that's what they judge their system on. But that is a fraction of the knowledge that you really need in order to understand the value of a system. So we record the daily performance here. We also record the number of contracts that are traded, so that we incorporate the cost of doing business, the cost of those trades, our commissions and fees. And then what we present to you and show you is the growth that can be driven off of just staying the course and being consistent with your trading, working through losing days, working through winning days, and basically just building your trading business. You know, if you owned a small business and you had a sales team, you might have a day or a week where your sales team, just really fumbled, didn't produce anything for whatever reason. Heck, maybe there was a snowstorm and nobody could get out to make calls. Maybe there was a power outage for 2 or 3 days and nobody could get out and make calls. It doesn't mean that your business is not succeeding. It just means that there was a temporary setback in what you had hoped would happen. But you have other days that are very robust and ambitious results are achieved. And that's the same thing with trading. We have winning days, we have losing days, we have a lot of big winning days, and we have some big losing days. But all that really matters to me is what the overall performance is. So there are 3 categories that we track, 3 categories of performance that we track. One of them is trading from 9:30 to noon, and taking each of the 4 adaptive entry system signals, excluding the fractals. So we take each of the 4. Fractals is a 5th methodology that Aaron talks about in the live trading room, but we don't take fractals in the 9:30 to noon category. So if you trade for 2.5 hours a day, and we started with $5,000 in the account, right now we are on pace to have a $101,123 income for 12 months. Now, what's interesting is we are exactly 7 trading days away from being at a full 12 months. That number is not going to change dramatically. It might go up a little bit, it might go down a little bit, but basically we are on pace to have the traders who have followed along diligently for the last year. 7 months will be, sorry, 7 additional weeks will be a year. And to start with a $5,000 account, go through all the wins, go through all the losses, go through the frustration of, today's not working out well, go through the euphoria of today's just a glorious day, we're having a lot of fun. There are a lot of emotional highs and emotional lows in trading, just like there are in life. And if you stay the course, you can be very successful. And that's what we teach. And that's what Aaron's so good about, guiding people through every day in our live trading room. So if you work 2.5 hours a day, $5,000 was the starting balance of the account. Right now, we're on pace for that balance to be $101,123. And that's all based on the average run rate. So our average run rate for winning days is 20.84 points. This is all regarding the NASDAQ 100 futures, trading a 5-minute chart. And the average losing day when we do lose is 48.85 points. And we've been at it for 50.5 weeks. And we've had 92 losing days during that 50.5 weeks. So we record all of our wins, all of our losses. We record the cost of doing business, and then we are able to clearly see what happens at our 52-week mark. Now, what's going to happen coming up when we close out the 52-week mark is Aaron's working on starting a new template for our personal trading plan. We're going to start over again. Now, we are going to start over with another $5,000. We're going to set aside the $100,000, and we're going to start over with another $5,000. And somewhere, she's going to be creative about this. Somewhere on the personal trading plan, she's going to make a note that year one recorded whatever it is, 101,123. So at all times, you'll be able to keep track of, well, what did you do in year one, and kind of use that as a guide for what you could do possibly in year two. So the second category that we track is trading from 7 a.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern. Not always to 4, but whenever we close the live trading room, sometimes that's 3 o'clock, sometimes it's 3:30, but basically to the end of our trading day. And that's only trading the trend bias and the continuation signals. So there are 4 adaptive entry system signals, and 2 of them indicate parts of trends. So there's a large percentage of time that the market is in a trend, and that's really what this is intended to capture. So you're not taking what we refer to as the momentum signal, which is a counter trend signal usually, and you're not taking the consensus signal, but you're taking trend bias and continuation signals, and trading from 7 to 4. So generally there are fewer trades. You can have some bigger profits on those. And we're also working on, through our Aurora system, ways to more effectively stay in some of those trending trades, which we'll be talking about in the coming weeks. We started this account with $5,000 also at the same time that we started the 9:30 to noon account. So we're 50.5 weeks through that. Average winning day is 24.09 points, and each point has a $20 value to it. Average losing day is 48.11 points, and that's based on actual history. It factors out holidays when we're not trading. You can put zeros in your number of contracts for any day you take off and decide not to trade at all. And the personal trading plan will take that into account and will factor your run rate appropriately based on the days that you're trading. We're also limiting our contract growth to 3 contracts, maximum of 3 contracts. You can make it whatever you choose, but it's governed in the program. It's governed by no more than 10% of the balance of the account will be allocated to the margin requirement for futures contracts. So each contract requires a margin of $500. So in order for me to trade, say, 10 contracts, I would need to allocate $5,000, which means I'd need at least $50,000 in the account. And so you can see here with a balance of about $138,000 that we could be trading far more contracts. But there's a limiter over here, and you can set that for whatever you choose. We set it at 3 contracts just because I think it's a very practical number of contracts to trade on the NASDAQ 100. And our 12-month, 52-week forecast, having started with $5,000 and with just 7 days left in our 52-week period, is that we'll earn an income of $143,874. That's going to change a little bit in the next 7 days, whether we have some wins, whether we have some losses, but it's going to be right around that number. So maybe about $140,000. And that's, again, a longer time commitment to your trading, 7 to 4, 7 a.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern, but it's taking fewer trades and only taking the trend and trend bias trades. And then the last category we tracked, by the way, we track 3 different categories because we want to show that the success of the adaptive entry system is not dependent on a particular time frame. It's not dependent on a particular set of signals. It works no matter what combination of time frame and signals that you choose to incorporate into your business. You can choose when you want to trade. If you have another job, you have another business that occupies your time, or you just don't want to trade that much. You want to trade a limited amount of time. You choose the hours that you want to trade. You choose the adaptive entry system signals that you want to trade, and that way you can determine you can still be successful. Your numbers will be a little bit different than ours. In this particular category, this actually mimics the live trading room hours, 8:45 a.m. to 4 p.m. or whenever we decide to end our trading for the day. Generally, it's sometime between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. So 8:45 is when the live trading room opens. And so what we do is we measure performance actually that's called out every day in the live trading room. This is inclusive of all 4 of the adaptive entry system signals plus fractals. So there's 5 signals that we're taking throughout the day. And we started this tracking at the beginning of 2021 because we wanted a calendar year tracking of the live trading room performance, meaning all the signals that are captured during that time frame. And so we're 24 and a half weeks into this plan. Our average winning days are 35.68 points. Our average losing days are 79.76 points. We've had 42 losing days in the 24.6 weeks that we've been trading. We're also capping at 3 contracts max. We are already at our max. We've scaled up to that. And our forecast for a 52-week period, which we're just about 7 weeks away from 6 months, so halfway through. So being almost halfway through a 52-week period, we have a forecast of about $175,676. Now, that number can definitely change. It can go higher or it can go lower as we navigate our way through the next 6 months and a couple of weeks. So 175,000, pretty decent number. We'll see what it is. The other numbers, with only 7 days left to go, they're not going to change very much. But any way you slice it, in my opinion, anywhere from 100,000 to 175,000 is the forecast, depending on how much time you want to commit, depending on what signals you want to commit to taking. And each of those accounts start with just $5,000. So a lot of people will ask me, well, what's a reasonable amount to start trading with? If you're trading futures, I think $5,000 is a very reasonable amount that you can be successful with. If you're trading options, a lot of people assume that you have to absolutely have a minimum of $25,000 in your account to day trade. Well, technically, in order to avoid pattern day trading penalties, you have to have 25,000 in your account, but we can teach you how to avoid the pattern day trading issue and still be able to lock in profits during an individual day. So that's all part of the types of things that we teach in our options education. All right, so pretty excited about the performance. I'm pretty excited about kind of pushing reset, starting over with $5,000 in 2 of our categories here in another 7 weeks. And we'll make a note, like I said, on those 2 trackings to show, well, what was the year 1 performance from 5,000 to 100,000 or 5,000 to 140,000, depending on the time frame and the signals that we're taking. Just as I close out of this, I absolutely firmly believe that the personal trading plan is one of the most valuable tools you can have. If you're having a rough day and you plug your numbers into the personal trading plan and you see, well, it didn't really change my 12-month forecast that much, that helps to quiet some of that anxiety and emotion. If you want to know when is enough, a problem that a lot of traders struggle with. How long should I trade? When should I quit? Well, like in this case, trading from, well, let's do it here. Trading from 8:45 to 4, if you're up 30 points for the day and you're just not feeling it, the market doesn't feel like it's working for you, well, you're a little shy of your average, but plug it into your personal trading plan and you're going to see how it affects your 12-month forecast. If you're up, 40 points for the day, well, you could quit because you know that by being up 35 points on any given day, you are on pace to earn $175,000. So it provides data to you, and data is important for proper and intelligent decision making, but it provides data to you that will allow you to make decisions throughout the day. And if you've been in our live trading room, you know that Aaron frequently early in the morning will say, hey, anybody whose target is 20 or 25 points, we're already at that, or we're at 30 points, you might want to consider stopping for the day. We're never telling you when to quit trading. We're never telling you to keep trading. What we do throughout the day is we record every trade. So you'll see in some situations where we might have had early in the day 30, 40, 45, 50 points, and then we close out the day and we might have had a 10-point loss or might have had a 5-point loss. We're not taking all of those trades. We are actually stopping our own trading when we hit our targets. But what we do for the purpose of gathering comprehensive data and building our database is we continue to call out the trades throughout the day, and we continue to track those trades in our database so that we know exactly what that overall performance is. And what we record here is the full performance for the day. So I feel very, very confident that when we're presenting these numbers to you in a personal trading plan, that we're actually presenting conservative numbers, because there are many, many days that we would have quit earlier in the day in live trading, and our performance overall would be much better, because there's no reason to keep trading if we're on pace to make $175,000 and we've hit that number for the day and we're happy with $175,000 of income off of a $5,000 account. We're very happy with that. Okay, so let's bounce back to this and just close this out, and then we'll turn to questions. Again, learn to trade, trade to earn, use the personal trading plan. We've got the live trading room available. We've got the adaptive entry system available, which a lot of people look over our shoulder literally in the live trading room. Erin is showing the adaptive entry system on her screen every day. We've got options education, but going back to the adaptive entry system for a minute, you can have your own subscription to the adaptive entry system. You are not dependent at all on us showing you what you want to see. Erin will have the adaptive entry system, NASDAQ 100 5-minute chart, and also shows the Russell and S&P 500 5-minute charts, but she'll have the NASDAQ 100 chart open showing that, and if somebody it feels like they're not seeing the signals properly, or there's any kind of a delay between Aaron announcing the signal and you being able to enter the signal, you can certainly have your own subscription to the adaptive entry system signals so that it is real time for you without any kind of a delay in understanding it's time to go short or time to go long. As I said, we've got options education. I think it's one of the best options education programs available. And then, of course, futures trading and education, which in general, futures trading is fairly simple. The biggest part of futures trading that you want to learn is when to get in properly using the adaptive entry system and understanding how to manage your risk and the opportunity reward for futures. So these are the tools that we have built, that we've created for you so that we can help you build a personal trading business. If you want to learn more about it, you can use the link that you see on your screen, optionsmoneymaker.com/investor2. That's optionsmoneymaker.com/investor2. And as I said when we started, I'm always looking for ways that we can enhance the tools that we provide to you and build additional tools that will continue to help you build your business. That's what we're here for. So if you have questions, Kristen and Aaron are going to monitor questions, and we're happy to work with you through those.
First questions from Bill. I thought the live trading room opened daily about 8:45. Yes, that's when we start calling out signals. Generally, the room's open about 10 minutes prior to that. But we start calling out signals at 8:45. If you're looking to follow along with the 7 to 4 trend bias continuation performance that we showed, we would encourage you to have your own AES, just as Mark talked about. You can trade then AES really anytime, pre-market. We have a few clients that'll start around 7 a.m. We have clients that trade post-market too when it opens back up in the evening. So having your own subscription to AES allows you that flexibility to trade and see the signals in real time whenever you're looking to trade.
Mark, Dan is asking, what is your approximate % return per trade per amount at risk?
It's not a data point that we track, Dan. I don't consider it to be valid or an important data point. What I care about more than the per trade % is what my growth is overall. So my growth is based on $5,000. If I grow the account and my personal trading plan is telling me that I'm on pace to make $100,000 off of 5,000, that's a more valid number to me in terms of being a business owner, in terms of owning my own personal trading business, than it is to know what my average return per trade is. That's just in my opinion, that's a minutia detail that's just not even worth paying attention to, because I don't really care how many winning trades and how many losing trades I have. I mean, we track percent win ratio, win percent ratio. We track that ratio, but in my opinion, the only valid number is my account growing? So you can get bogged down in all this other tracking, and Erin could probably build a formula. I'm not asking her to, but she could probably build a formula that would tell us that. I just don't think it is a necessary and valid data point. So we don't provide that.
I was asking, on some of the other webinars, you mentioned that Erin calls out signals. Is there any sort of delay? I've been in other rooms where there's a 20-second delay. I can tell you that there's not a 20-second delay when I'm calling out signals. However, I'm calling them out as soon as I see them. We recommend when you first start off trading AES, you can absolutely wait until I call them out, assuming that you're in sim. You will have slippage if you're waiting until I call them out, but at the same time, it's going to help reinforce the knowledge of the signals. I try my best before each bar to give you a heads up of what we could anticipate for the signal. I've traded this long enough that most of the time I can figure out about what signal is going to come on if we're going to get a signal at the beginning of the next bar. It allows you to do what I call prep your dome. So you can scroll, you can uncheck auto center. This is assuming you're on infinity, and you can scroll your dome so you're ready to go. And if I think there's going to be a long signal, you can hover over the buy market button. And then as soon as that signal comes on, you click it. I will call it out as it comes on, but the benefit of being in the live trading room or having your own charts is you can see the signal come on also in real time. There's probably a split-second delay if you're watching the charts through the live trading room. There's no delay, obviously, if you have your own charts, but there's probably only about a split-second delay seeing it come on in the live trading room. And then you can click if that long signal comes on, you can click the buy market as soon as you see it. But as you're starting out, as you're starting to learn the signals, as you're trading in sim, you can absolutely wait for me to call them out. I'm going to call it out right as it happens at that open of the bar, And then of course, what we're looking for profit, if we're adjusting our stop at all. Sometimes things happen very quickly. Like I said, I know it's not a 20-second delay because sometimes we're in and out of trades within 10 seconds. Things can just move that quickly on NQ. I really try to be on top of calling out what actions I'm taking as I'm going through it. But we always recommend starting out in sim as you're starting to learn these signals. And you can absolutely follow along just by listening to me at first and seeing how it's aligning with the signals, and then graduate still in sim to just taking the entries based on the signals that show up in the live trading room, because we're showing a chart and it's basically, if it highlights green, you go long. If it highlights red, you go short. And of course, I prep you before the beginning of the next bar to let you know what we're looking for.
So, Mark, Dan commented that the trading that we're talking about looks like it requires constantly being in front of the computer. And he's asking, is there another way to do it, not requiring as much computer time?
Well, not right now, Dan. If you want to generate profits, you've got to be in front of your computer. If you want to take trades, you got to be in front of your computer. That's the way we do it. And it's one of the reasons why we show in our personal trading plan 3 different variations. One starts at 9:30 and ends at 12. That's 2.5 hours. One starts at 7 in the morning and ends at the end of the market day, which could be as late as 4 o'clock. So there are other ways to, there are other time frames that you can trade. Let me just see here. If we go to our database that Aaron built this tool, which allows us to track everything that we're doing. And, maybe you're somebody who says, I don't want to be there early. I don't want to be there at market open. Maybe I want to trade from 10 a.m. Eastern. Sorry, why didn't that take? No, because I need to do this. Okay, 10 a.m. Eastern to noon. Maybe that's what you want to do. I'm just going to show you an example. Well, in our database and our historical tracking, 257 trading days, not calendar days, and there are about 20 trading days in an average month. So 257 trading days, our history tells us that the average profit performance in trading the NASDAQ 100 on a 5-minute chart is $221 a day. And you can see that you have just under 10 average trades a day, and there's about a 77.5% win-loss ratio. So there's all sorts of different configurations. I don't know what kind of time you're willing to commit or want to commit to your trading, but the type of trading that we are doing now requires some sort of trading, some sort of commitment to computer screen time. Now, the tool that we're building, CycleBot, which I mentioned is an automatic trading tool, will eventually, and we're not close to releasing this yet. Kristen is doing a lot of testing on CycleBot. We're testing it against different signals, but CycleBot was built essentially as a tool that once you assign it a certain set of signals, so let's say you decided you wanted CycleBot to take all of the trend bias trades on the 5-minute chart, and maybe all of the trend continuation trades, or you wanted it to trade all 4 of the adaptive entry system signal chart signals. You can do that. As I said, it's not ready for prime time yet, but we are trading it every single day in sim mode. And we are testing it. So I don't know what today's number was, but yesterday, for example, we had CycleFinder, sorry, I'm using the wrong terminology. We had CycleBot assigned to trade both NASDAQ 100 and the Russell 2000 at the same time because it can sniff out multiple contracts. We've had it trading as many as 6 different markets at the same time in different parts of our testing. Yesterday did reasonably well, about $1,900 for the day, and that's pretty much on autopilot, just letting CycleBot choose the trades, place the trade with Infinity, and then close out of the trade based on our parameters. There can be some human intervention if we decide to lock something in, but there are also configurations where you can just let CycleBot do its thing. So again, we're not ready to release anything like that yet to the community. Before we would release it to the community, we're going to be using it extensively with the proprietary trading team that we're in the process of building. Kristen's going to be leading that proprietary trading team for us and doing training of additional traders who will be joining us. And she's going to be responsible for kind of facilitating the setup of CycleBot across all the different markets. So she's gotten really familiar with not just NQ and RTY, but gold and silver and oil and copper and ES and Dow, the Dow we added recently. So it's going to be a fantastic tool when we feel like it's ready for prime time.
Bill is asking if we can go over how Aaron sets up the Infinity Dome. I think you had my screenshot
I do.
that we show. And then Bill will also send you a link to newcycletrading.com/education. Bob, I'm going to rope your question into this too, since we're on talking about the dome, and that's what you're asking as well. But newcycletrading.com/education has 2 videos out there that actually shows you how we are using the dome. Mark's taking time to record a video to show you what actions we are taking. But initially what I'm doing is, let's say in this case, you can see on the chart right now, I know we can't have a long signal, we're fully aligned, but we're in the sell zone of Cycle Finder Plus, so we could have a short signal. So what I am doing is for the start of the next bar, I'm ready to prep my dome. Now my dome, from the minute I set it up or I open up it in the morning, I have my quantity set to the amount of contracts I want to trade, which is right now it's showing 1 contract. And I have a simple bracket with the auto check next to it. And my simple bracket has a profit target of 40 ticks. There are 4 ticks in a point, so it's 10 points of a profit target. And my stop loss is 80 ticks, so it's a 20-point stop loss. Because auto is checked, again, this is for the Infinity Dome, each trade I place will automatically be sent with that bracket order. So I don't have to worry about a sudden movement. If a sudden movement moves towards me and hits that 10-point, I'll be out. I don't have to go and place that order. Infinity sending the order with my buy market or my sell market button. So as I'm prepping for a potential trade, in this case, a potential short entry, I first uncheck Auto Center. You cannot manage a trade with Auto Center checked because it's just moving.
Especially not on NQ.
No, it's just maybe on ES, but definitely not on NQ.
No.
You can't insert the stop in there, it won't work. And then I usually, for short signals, I scroll so the current price of the dome's at the top of the dome. So that blue highlight ends up being at the top of the dome. That means my entry price is probably going to be at the top of the dome, and I'll be able to lock in my 5 points and see my 10-point limit order all on the dome. I don't have to do any scrolling. The goal is really to minimize any scrolling that I'm doing or moving of the dome prices once I'm in the trade. Then I hover over the sell market button. As soon as I see that signal come on, if we get a short momentum, I click sell market, I'm in the trade, my bracket order is already placed out there as well. And then I quickly move my mouse, my cursor to where 5 points is to lock in. For a short signal, you'll be on the bid quantity side, and for a long signal, you'll be on the ask quantity side. So if the bar opens, I don't know what price level this is at. Let's say the bar opens at
1775.
Yeah, let's say we get in at 1775.
Short.
I'll have my cursor at 12 3/4 to get ready to lock in the minute it moves down there. So Bob, this goes into your question. I'm not going to scroll all the way up to grab my stop, pick it up and place it down there. If I take that much time to do that, we could already be at my profit and then maybe back to break even the way that NQ moves. So all I do is have my cursor next to where the 5-point lock is. As soon as we get past 5 points of profit, I click to insert my stop there. If it comes back to take me out for my stop, it's going to automatically cancel my simple bracket for me. This is at least on the downloaded version of Infinity. I think it works a little bit different on the online version, but for the downloaded version, when you come back to take out at your 5-point lock, it automatically cancels your simple bracket. Now, when I lock in, I immediately move my cursor to the stop column right where I am, because if I haven't gotten taken out yet and it runs to my limit order at 10 points, then I need to cancel. I need to manually cancel my stop, and I just right click. That's how you can manually cancel it. You can also click cancel all. I prefer to do right click instead of cancel all, so I don't lose my fractal orders that are out there. But I lock in and then I immediately move over to the stop, because if we run to 10 points and we're taken out at the 10-point limit order, I just right click, my mouse is already there. I remove the stop, the manual stop that I've inserted in to guarantee myself at least 5 points. We didn't come back to take me out for the 5 points of profit. We ran to 10, and then I can just cancel that so it doesn't come back and put me back in long at where I had my lock. So those are the actions that I am taking. The longer that you're trading in sim, the more comfortable, the more this will just become muscle memory as you're getting used to locking in profits. I personally always lock in based on the open of the bar. That's what all of our performance is tracked on. That means if I have a favorable fill, I'll take more profit than 5 or 10 points. If I have an unfavorable fill, I'll take less than 5 or 10 points. But I'm just looking at the open of the bar and then just going from there. That way I'm not skirting my eyes all around to see, oh, well, where was I filled and what is that for 5 points? So basically what I'm calling out in the room is what I'm doing, and it makes it a little bit easier. I do the math for you. Sometimes it moves really quickly, but I do the math for you to tell you where we're looking to lock in. If we have some time, we're in a trade and it's not one that just suddenly runs 10 points or so, I'll go and adjust to the fractal if I have time. If the fractal is less than 20 points away, that's where I will adjust the actual stop itself. You can do that a couple ways. You can scroll up to the stop and move it, or you can use your open orders, and there's a pencil icon in your open orders, and you can actually click that and just edit in there while still keeping your dome centered where you want it to be to lock in 5 points. So that's what I do. That's exactly how I adjust everything.
And Aaron mentioned this, but there is a good video out there that we created because we got a lot of questions about that process. So we created a video that walks through that on a live trading dome. So you're not just looking at a screen capture, you're actually looking at a live trading dome, and we're able to show you how to do exactly what Aaron just described.
And then Bob, in the fast moving market, where I don't want to lose my dome being ready for to lock in, I'll just use the open orders. There's the pencil icon. You can type in what your stop should be when you adjust to a fractal, or you can use these up and down arrows to change the price, but that's generally what I'll do. I'll use the open order to just quickly change it, so I'm not moving off of where I need to be paying attention to lock in my 5 points. And it's such a small window, you can actually still lock in 5 points and never have changed, like finished changing the price, which has happened to me before. I go to edit it and all of a sudden we start moving, so I'm back to getting ready to lock in 5 points, and I never got to submitting the order to change my stop to the fractal.
It's a great explanation, Aaron.
Thank you.
Mark, John is asking if you've completed any studies on shorter time frames than the 5 minutes.
So not specifically on AES, on the new Aurora system that we've been working with since the end of August last year, and which we've just now released to our small group of coaching clients. We've tracked shorter time frames, and we've also tracked longer time frames. So my counsel is, if you like what you see in the 5 minute, I will tell you that the performance and the success of the adaptive entry system is not exclusive to the 5 minute chart. I could pull up a 15 minute chart, and you can take a look at the adaptive entry system signals, and you're going to find that there is still some significant opportunity. There might be some differences in terms of how much drawdown there is on a longer time frame, or how much profit opportunity there is on a longer time frame. So here's a short momentum here on a 15-minute chart that opened at 268.5 and went down to 239. So, almost 30-point move on those two bars. The opportunities present themselves on any time frame. So if I were to go to a shorter time frame, you just got more trading, more rapid fire trading. Let me get out of the post regular market session, and we'll look at something a little more reasonable earlier today. So here's a 3-minute chart. So here's a trend bias entry right here. And to go long, 281 up to 299 on the next bar. That's a 3-minute entry. Then you've got a short momentum. It moved against you initially about 11 points, and then gave you over 10 points of profit. So, there are some more diehard crazy people who like to trade the 1 minute, and I can affectionately refer to them as crazy because I do that sometimes. And the 1 minute works just as well. Now I'm going to go the opposite direction, and I'm going to pull up a stock, for example. I've been talking a lot about how effective the stocks are also. And I'm just there's other stuff down here that's part of our Aurora system that I'm not going to talk about here, but I'm just showing you the adaptive entry system. And you can see here that if you take, for example, on Amazon at 2 o'clock today, there was a continuation signal to go long, and the stock opened at 35.05, ended up trading up to a high of 35.23. Well, if you're trading a 50 delta, that's an easy 5 to 8 points of profit. Here's a signal to go short, trend bias signal. On stocks, on options on stocks, trading 15 to 30-minute charts, I prefer, personally, this is my personal bias, to trade just the trend bias signals and the continuation signals. But having your own set of charts, you can play around with that. We don't show all this in the live trading room because we could be showing stocks. We could be showing option trades. We could be showing option trades on indexes, option trades on ETFs, option trades on any one of a number of stocks. We've got our own watch list of stocks. You could be looking at futures trades on any one of the indexes, or futures trades on any commodity or agricultural future. You could be looking at cryptocurrency trades. And these adaptive entry system signals are going to provide a reasonable basis for an entry and an exit, no matter what type of underlying derivative you are trading. And you can trade whatever time frame. I always encourage people that once you've learned a little bit through watching Erin in the live trading room, she's very, very effective at helping you understand the basics of adaptive entry system. Once you've gone through that and gone through the training, that you get your own subscription to the adaptive entry system software, and you start playing around and find your own niche. What do you want to trade yourself? I mean, I could pull up where is it? There we go. Pull up Bitcoin here on a 15-minute chart. See, you could almost put a black label over a blinder over what it is that's presenting itself, and you can evaluate the adaptive entry system signals. Here, Bitcoin at 11:15 this morning said you really should go short. It reversed against you a little bit before giving you a nice profit. And to be very honest, I don't mean to be cocky about this. I've actually said this to my team. I personally have never traded cryptocurrency. I could easily learn to. I'm not sure I really have an interest in it. And so I could stand up in front of a seminar of 1,500, people who like to trade crypto, between the ages of 15 and 25. And I could tell them, I can't tell you how to trade crypto. You guys know that. I can tell you when you should get in, and I can tell you when you should get out. That's what I can tell you, because the adaptive entry system software is adaptive to whatever you choose to trade. And like with everything else, we want you to learn to trade first. We want you to do some testing. If you want to trade crypto, whatever crypto you want to trade, I don't even know what all these are, to be honest. But if you want to trade crypto, go back and do some of your own back testing. This is a 15-minute chart. Here's a great trade right in here. I think it's a great trade. I'm just telling you, the signal said to go long, and Litecoin was long at, no, that was overnight. That's really not a fair judgment, but you can see here that the signals, if you understand anything at all about the trending signals, and those are really the only things I pay attention to on stocks, options, and if I was going to trade crypto. But here's a great sell-off right here. That sell-off was forecasted right here when the trend bias short came on, had a little bit of a drift higher, and then boom, look at that. Look at that sell-off right there. So if you were an owner of this particular cryptocurrency, wouldn't you want to get rid of it there and save yourself the heartache? I've browsed through a lot of chat rooms. I browsed through forums that they're all talking about crypto and where do you think it's going, and they're feeding off of each other. None of them know what they're doing in terms of when to get in and when to get out. That's the biggest question they have. And again, I'm not trying to be cocky about this. I'm just telling you, I could tell every one of them, if they want to learn how to use our adaptive entry system software, when to get in and when to get out, because it's that effective. And that applies to stocks. So if you're trading Facebook, some of the movements are smaller, but here's a signal to go long. That's a nice move. Here was a signal to go short. Guess what? That one didn't work out. And so you're out on the white bar. You might have taken a small loss on that. That's just part of the process. Here's a signal to go short. You're out on the white bar. You didn't take a profit on that, but here's a signal to go short, and boom, you took a nice profit on that option. So you, just like with futures, you're going to have a combination of winning trades and losing trades. And it's just a matter of really learning how to use the software. You can trade the ETFs. Here's SPY, the S&P 500 ETF. Here's your short signals. Here's another short signal. Nice little movement there. If you're not out for profit somewhere and that moved down, you'd be out on the white bar. Here's a long signal, probably out for a little bit of a loss there. Here's another long signal. And so far you're still in that because the trend is still indicating bias to the upside. So the point is, we've invested a lot of time, and thanks to Craig, New Cycle Trading, and his knowledge and expertise, not only in trading, but in programming and developing some really effective market metrics tools. It's incredible software. So I won't be as bold to say as it's the best software out there, because somebody else has another opinion about what that is. And all I'll say is it works very effectively. I've got personal trading plans, 3 different versions of personal trading plans, where we started trading the NASDAQ 100 futures, 5-minute charts with $5,000 in each account. And we're growing those accounts anywhere from 100,000 to 170,000 over the course of a year. I think that that's all the testimony that's needed, in my opinion.
Evan is asking, would you recommend monitoring, this is talking about trading, I believe, the 5-minute NQ, but monitoring the 1-minute chart on the DOM to help you in deciding exit a trade or stay in a trade?
Well, you're not monitoring timeframes on the DOM. The DOM is your tool to place your trade. So the DOM is not specific to a time frame. It's your chart that's specific to a time frame. And if you want to incorporate a 1-minute chart into that, we actually have some clients who will monitor. Let me see here if I can. Okay, so just look at the price bars here, because everything else is part of our Aurora system that we're not talking about here. But we have people who will look at the 5-minute and maybe have a 1-minute setup adjacent to it and filter some of the trades based on that. that's a personal bias. You are setting up your own personal trading business. And if that's something that you feel you want to incorporate into your decision making, well, you should do that. If you were a franchise owner and you own the same franchise as 15 other entrepreneurs, and you all have your own different territories, there's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of things that you're going to do the same because you were taught by corporate, by the training to put you into business. There's some things that are the same that you're required to do. But then there are the slight variations that perhaps makes one franchisee more successful than another franchisee. And you have to kind of figure those out. We're teaching you a basic format here. When we get into some of the personal coaching that we're offering, we get into more of the details and the variables and things to think about and how to evaluate those variables. But we're providing some basics to you. And as a business owner, personal trading business owner, it is up to you to learn the basics and then decide how to build some variables into your business, what works for you. And that requires some testing. That requires some outside of market hours testing and validating for yourself. So we're doing a ton of that right now on the Aurora system, and just making sure that we have a good foundation for our basis. And we're very comfortable with what we've built at this point. Otherwise, we wouldn't be offering it as part of a coaching curriculum.
Mark, can you expand the label indicators, that 2 underneath the NQU? Rob was just asking what it is. So it shows the labels, but sometimes they can get in the way, especially when you have 3 charts side by side. So Mark just has it collapsed. It's not anything that indicates a time frame or anything like that. It's just the amount of indicators that are being hidden on the top part of the chart.
And I'll show you why I hide them. So here's 3 different ones, right? And if I have that drop down, it on a narrow frame starts to cover some of my bars. And I don't need to know what the labels are because I work with the system every day and I know what it is. So I put the labels out of the way. When I'm working with people, coaching, whether we're teaching people, we'll display the labels just to make sure that they're clear on what they're looking at.
And then I know you're asking about timeframes too. So, okay, go back to that chart. I'm sorry. So the timeframes can be seen at the top of the chart too. So you can see the 3 is next to CME, and then 5 for 5 minute, and then 15 for 15 minute, kind of in that middle of that header up there.
And you can make them whatever you want. You have this feature in TradingView that you can select whatever combination of timeframes. No, let me say it differently. You can select the number of different charts in the platform that you want to see at one time. You can have 8 charts showing at one time. That would drive me crazy. 3 is about the most that I will do, and you can choose any configuration, a combination of charts. But that's what's available there, and then you can set them all to be different symbols. You can set them all to be different time frames. And for example, if I go back to my chart here, when I'm trading options, I might want to be trading Amazon and another symbol. So I turn off the symbol. If the symbol is turned on, both charts or 3 charts or 4 charts, however many I have configured, will all show the same symbol. But if I have it turned off, then I could have Amazon in one chart and I could have S&P 500 in a different chart. So I could be monitoring the signals for both of those. Rajesh, I'm not sure I understand your question. What do you mean by that?
Are you looking for pricing information?
Or maybe the coaching that you've been talking about, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, we can provide any information you want. It just kind of give us a little, narrow that down. Because I can guarantee you that I have a different deal personally than Kristen has or Aaron has. Aaron, they have their own deals, and their deals are just annoying to me sometimes. So
Yeah, I charge you an up fee when I have to create a spreadsheet, right?
that's right.
Especially when you give me just a piece of paper.
Aaron's got a whole condition going on that is, her deal. So
If I don't come to work, they just automatically delete. I have a
is there a self-destruct button?
yeah, self-destruct timer. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
So Rajesh, we can hang here just for a minute and see what you're referring to. I'm going to put up something here so I can find it. I thought it might come up. There we go. So on the link, Rajesh, that's is optionsmoneymaker.com/investor2. There's a lot of information on the services, the live trading room, the personal trading plan, the futures trading education, the Profit Builder Plus program. We've got all-in package if you want to sign up for everything. There's some bonuses and incentives we have for you to sign up. All of our pricing, I'm very proud of the fact that all of our pricing is geared to help you make money. I consider our pricing to be reasonably fair, considering the opportunity that it presents for you to earn. Our pricing is almost all based on 1 to 2 days of trading profit opportunity. Not guaranteed that that will be your experience, and certainly not initially when you're in a trade to learn or learn to trade phase. But, like with any business, you make some investment so that you can make some money. So Rajesh, did you want to clarify what it is that you're looking for? We're happy to answer any additional questions. I'm going to give you a countdown clock. We got a 1:33 countdown clock. Oh, you're looking for trade alerts on options trading? If you're talking about options trading, as I mentioned in the earlier presentation, that's one of the things that we are working on right now. We're working on a program for trade alerts for intraday options trades. It's not available yet, but it's something that we are working on. Once we do have it, we already have a smartphone app in place. And so when we would take a trade, when you sign up for the service, you'd be in our database. When you take a trade, we send the parameters of that trade, what we bought to open for, what we've set our stop, not our stop, but our good to canceled order for on an options trade, what the strike and expiration is. And we send that to you. And it can literally be in your hands a few seconds after we place the trade. So we have that tool in place. We have some other things that we need to work on before we're ready to release a options alert service. Well, we're not going to, we haven't even comprehended doing an alert service for futures yet, because futures are a different animal, and the futures that we trade can move so quickly that by the time we get the alert out, by the time you get the alert, we might already be out of the trade. So
By the
right
time
now,
I send the alert, I mean, it takes me at least a couple seconds to send it. And there's some trades that were in and out. And no joke. When
yeah,
NQ is moving, 5 seconds is how long those trades can happen. And that's even with a 10-point limit, or we're not touching anything. It just moves and takes us out for a profit.
Now, I won't say it's not possible, Rajesh, because one of the things that I've highlighted here, I've said trade alerts for intraday options trading, but there's some discussions that we've had internally with our programming group about automating the process of the software and alert software recognizing the signal within the adaptive entry system or Aurora system and automatically populating the app, the Trade Alert app, and sending it. Not even close to figuring out what that would take. We are devoting our time right now to building auto trading and the Aurora system, and then next on our agenda will be trade alerts. So we've got quite a ways to go yet on auto trading. We've been actually raising some funding to help us finish that because we just think it's going to be a phenomenal tool for ourselves internally. We're going to be using it for our internal proprietary trading team. And then we would also eventually be offering subscriptions to it for individual traders.
Mark, we have a question.
ahead.
Reed is asking, has the new system, the Aurora system, performed better during these last few days than the trading room system?
So by the trading room system, I assume you're talking about the adaptive entry system. Aurora has been a fairly consistent performer. I think Friday of last week was a little bit of a challenge, but then in fairness, that was a quad witching day, which can be a little challenging to the overall market. It's kind of an unusual activity to the overall market. But yeah, the Aurora system has been performing very well. So I'm very happy with what it's doing. And Kristen and I are trading it together. Plus we have CycleBot, our auto trading tool, trading it in sim mode. So we can always test ourselves and see how well we're doing compared to the my new favorite employee.
And Rajesh, the CycleBot's what he's talking about for the auto trading, what we talked about earlier, where it places the trades for you and exits for you and needs minimal or no human intervention.
Yeah, so just to add to that, Kristen is running Auto Trader, which we call CycleBot, overnight. So it kicks off automatically at 6 p.m. Eastern, and it trades through really through a 22-hour day because you have it cutting off at 4. Is that right, Kristen?
Yes.
So it trades through a 22-hour day. It takes the trade. It knows what to do with the trade, when to take the trade based on our instructions, and we come in the morning and we evaluate how well it did overnight. Got some days that's really nice performance. Some days it's not quite as strong, but it's working on its own. There's no human intervention during those overnight hours. That's ultimately where we'd like to get to. And you can turn it on, like I said, to any overnight market. We've had it running against 6 different markets simultaneously. And you come in the morning and you evaluate, well, what was the profit or loss on each individual market and what was the total? And generally the totals are pretty strong. But it's a refinement process. So Kristen's been doing a really good job of refining that process and refining the settings, because ultimately it's a combination of the tool, which actually right now is working pretty well for us. Then it's the signals that you want to tell it to take, because CycleBot is non-emotional. He's just going to take whatever signal you told him to take. There's no, should I take this? Or, what did the 1-minute chart tell me? Or, geez, I see that there's something on my desk that, warns me I shouldn't take that. There's none of that with CycleBot, okay? There's a fly on my screen, none of that. So we tell it what to take. And then the third part of that success equation is having the proper settings in terms of a reasonable profit target and a reasonable stop. because when you turn it on to trade overnight, there's nobody sitting there adjusting stops or adjusting profit targets. It's just going to do whatever it was told. And it's always smiling and always happy. And sometimes we're smiling. Most of the time we're smiling. And sometimes we're like, what did you do last night, Psychobot? So we are working through that process, and we're pretty excited about it, because once we have that refined and nailed down, it really opens up a lot of opportunity for people, like whoever was saying earlier, they didn't really want to sit in front of their computer. And it also opens up opportunity for those folks who want to just let it work for you overnight. Now you become a business owner of a tool that is generating income for you when you sleep. And that ultimately would be the goal. No, Rajesh, options don't trade overnight. So we're not talking about options. We're talking about trading futures. You were asking earlier about a trade alert service. And I said, we will not do trade alert service. We don't have in our plans to do trade alert service on futures, but we do have plans to talk about it with options trading, which those alerts would only be issued between 9:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. The tool I'm talking about, Cyclebot, is focused on futures, which trade 23 hours a day.
They're placing trades on your trading platform, which right now what we have it is for the Infinity Futures Dome. And this is not currently available to anyone. This is something that we're continuing to work on. We keep teasing our base about it a little bit, but it's not available yet.
Yeah. And we don't have a time frame on when it's going to be available yet. We're not going to jump the gun. I'm not interested in offering subscriptions and access to it until we know with 100% certainty that it works well. One of the ways we're going to do that, once Kristen says, I think we're there, it's more than Kristen. She's doing all the heavy lifting on it right now in terms of the testing, with a lot of support from Craig at New Cycle Trading. But once she says that, we're going to have our own internal proprietary trading team using it and doing a lot of stress testing on it. Once we've done that, then we may feel comfortable offering it as a subscription service.
We don't use TradeStation. We use Infinity Futures is who we trade off of.
Yeah, all of our trades are routed through Infinity Futures. For futures trading, for options trading, use whoever you want. I use E-Trade personally. Rajesh, the 597, again, look at the link. You sent the link, Aaron?
Yeah, I did.
Look at the link that Aaron sent. The 597 is for a subscription and access to the adaptive entry system software. That's what you see in front of you right here on a 5-minute chart. And what Aaron is showing every day is this. She's showing a 5-minute S&P 500 futures chart, a 5-minute Russell 2000 chart, and a 5-minute NASDAQ 100 chart. Yes, Rajesh, the recording to this will go out tomorrow.
Mark, do you want to, can you talk, or maybe Aaron, because I know you're really good in TradingView. Bill is asking about the AO graph bars. Right now they're red and green indicators, and he's asking if you can make them darker or brighter.
Yeah, on your own chart, you can absolutely change them. The way that Mark's is showing, his are a little bit thinner than what mine show, but you can go to the settings for AO and you can choose any color that you want. And if you click on that color, Mark, you can also choose the thickness. I have mine set as the widest bar, so it's a little bit easier to see when we're in the live trading room, but you can choose any color you want for the rising bar and the falling bar. AO is generally shown in red or green. My red, I think, is a little bit brighter than what Mark's is showing too, that I show in the room. Try to make it as bright as possible for ease of access in the live trading room.
You can make the bars thicker. thinner. You can make the transparency.
Yeah, that's not helpful though. But yeah, you can, I mean, there's
Just to
all
show-
of these
I'm just, wow,
customization.
that was pretty judgmental right away.
I know.
See what I've been explaining to you, Kristen? This is what I go
She's
through.
wonderful.
Okay. Rajesh, if you will send an email to Dorothy@optionsmoneymaker.com tomorrow with whatever questions or information you'd like to learn about, we'll see if we can have somebody respond to that. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob, for letting us know that. We're not quite there yet, and probably when we do get to that point, we'll put a message out to our database, which you're part of, and see who would be interested and who would be qualified to do some stress testing and validation for us. But we got to get through our own first level of testing and our proprietary team trading. Okay, ladies, I don't see any other questions or thoughts out there. So folks, sincerely appreciate you being here. It's always a pleasure to be able to connect with and chat with you guys. And I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Thank you for being part of our community. And Aaron will be back at 8:45 tomorrow morning for the live trading room.